public transport sector is an industry that is relied on by millions of people on a daily basis on their commute to education, work, and recreational reasons. It helps the transportation of people and goods, which allows the growth of an economy and community. Examples of public transport include buses, trains, bikes, walking, and ferries. In the year 2037, the world's population is exponentially increased to more than 8.5 billion people. Despite attempted fiscal policies and incentives to reduce family size in Australia, Australian population increase trend is correlated to the world population. This trend has affected the whole country as Skyrise is implemented to help cater for this amount of people. Consequently, this congestion has reached maximum capacity, thus forcing people to move inland to more rural areas to dilute the population. Cars are at an all-time high with registered vehicles on the road, resulting in traffic to be in an all-time worst as well as fatalities. Public transportation organizational systems have adapted drastically to consolidate these changes and have become the preferred method of travel due to cost and time efficiency. Due to the skyrise in the city, more cars are forced to be parked in the streets, restricting the use of limited road space. With skyrise hitting maximum capacity in the major city regions, the Society of Australia are forced to go against the trend of living towards the coastal areas and instead move inland in order to dilute the population per square kilometre. Public transport have to disperse wider to compensate for the high demand and commute between rural areas. As it is now too efficient for traffic and travel time into the major cities, most people now work from home and are not using the public transport from public areas into the city. However, the traffic on the road between rural area roads has been at an all-time worst. Thus, society is demanding more public transport as it is the quickest way to travel.
Technology in public transport is evolving faster than ever before, with little to zero regulations to keep it in check. The likelihood of the workforce being replaced and becoming obsolete due to new technology are high, along with the demand for highly skilled, experienced workers increasing whilst for those with a lower education declining. The middle class population will likely suffer the consequences of unemployment and will not be able to maintain their current lifestyle. Technology. Technology is constantly evolving. This includes our method of transportation. For public transport, the development of machines capable of performing repetitive and routine tasks will drive the need for human workers down. Without any government intervention to regulate the impacts of technology, the rate of technological unemployment in the industry will surely continue to increase. In terms of economic growth, machines will perform better than humans as they are graded in productivity, efficiency and outputs in comparison to labour workers, along with not requiring any break or any sort of wage, making them completely self-reliant. Automated transport systems are more safer, efficient in the use of roads and mitigate congestions. Consequently, because of this, the threat of jobless futures, in which there are more jobs, especially in the public transport industry, can be broken down into a series of simple tasks, more and more of which can be done by machines.
In 2037, the congestion will increase based on the current trend in Australian cities, as well as the expanded global trades and rapid development of technology. All these factors are imposing burden on public transport, and the traditional operation is insufficient to satisfy the enormous demand. The challenge on how to reach the target place will be replaced by the less traffic way to choose. Technology has always been evolved, aiming to provide more convenient life for human beings and increase efficiency. However, blindness development on technology to introduce various transport means, such as automobile drivers, will inevitably cause safety and productivity issues and relevant arising anxious. Economic. With the government regulation and increasing spending on infrastructure and transportation, various public transport has been improved into high quality and ordered management. To 2037, based on the current trend and strong demand from Asian countries, the quantity on bulk freight will increase by half, and total international container throughput is supposed to be doubled. The convenient transport and systematic regulation will assist broadly in Australian imports, goods, and the global economy. Additionally, recently the fare recovery in Australia is performing a rising trend, which forecasts the feasibility of price system. as well as the sustainability of financial structures and future investments in public transport after 20 years. Social. It is too insufficient for consumers to purchase motorized vehicles, but instead move towards the readily available and organized public transport. Technology. Technique innovation can improve efficiency, security, and productivity in public transport. However, it can also bring some disruptive results. Nowadays, onboard systems are becoming an important source of transport benefits. Increased access to data has allowed more corporations and analysts to both government and private users. In 2037, the automobile drivers will replace the physical human beings and become the dominant operation method in normal life. The automated charging system will eliminate the waiting time at toll station. On the other hand, because all the systems are operating based on internet, it could be systematically hacked or collapse when the information is distorted.
Carbon emissions by industries and small scale have been increasing over time, and governments of different countries have taken it up to them to impose restrictions and encourage reduced emissions. In 2015, governments of almost 200 countries met in Paris to agree on the way forward regarding carbon emissions, which aims to discuss the carbon restriction. The methods adopted by countries represented in the 200 that attended the conference include reducing tax rates for companies that comply, coming up with legislation standards that should be followed, and finally through using market-based mechanisms. Some countries used one of the three methods, while others combined the three approaches. Where legislation has been difficult to work with, such as in the USA, regulations have been adopted to restrict carbon emissions, and by the 2030, the rich nations would be reducing to one lowest point of carbon output. The cost of fossil fuels is not always obvious, but the impacts can be catastrophic. External factors are sometimes easy to see, such as pollution and land degradation. However, external factors are less noticeable sometimes, such as the cost of asthma and cancer, or the impact of sea level rise. The cost is created in every point of fossil fuel supply chain. Understanding this impact is critical to accessing the real cost of fossil fuels and making a choice for our future energy production. Fossil fuels can meet most of the energy needs, but their production and use have significant health and environmental impacts, including air and water pollution, environmental degradation, and global warming. Fossil fuels in the extraction process can cause air and water pollution and harm the local community. Transporting fuel from a mine or well may cause air pollution and cause serious accidents and spills. When the fuel burns, they release toxins and global warming emissions, even if the waste is also harmful to public health and the environment.
In conclusion, the previous four scenarios illustrate the potential future of public transport industry based on technology and political factors in the next 20 years. The opportunities after 20 years are challenging and demanding. Obviously, the population will keep on increasing as demonstrated in the first scenario, and the automated vehicles have already been manufactured. The automation of public transport is predictable by around 2037. Government regulations will continue to change based upon various circumstances to ensure sustainability on economic, social, and environment issues. Thank you.